on any extra weight and trying to keep yourself fast?
Welcome, team. This is Izzy from last night, post-fight.
I'll have to think about that. My team and I will have to think about that. But right now, yeah, I honestly, I could have won this fight. This is not like blah, 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 blah. But tonight, he played a better game plan, and he was the better fighter tonight. That's it. Like, he respected me, and I respected him. And we had a great showing of ourselves. But, yeah, I'm not heartbroken. I hate losing, don't get me wrong, but I'm not like, oh my God, fuck, he really embarrassed me. Like, that was it. Like, I felt like I had a great showing for myself. I represented my team very well. But now we go back to the drawing board, and it's kind of fun. Like, I look forward to, this is the dip in my story. You know what I mean? This is the bit where, the valley, if you will. And then I rise up again like the phoenix that I am.
That, my friends, is Izzy, a.k.a. Israel Adesanya, after last night's decision loss to Jan Blachowicz. I mean, you can call me a mark for Izzy, standing for Izzy. You can say that, but it's not that at all. I respect that loss. First of all, respect the Jan for overcoming the odds and winning a fight. Because I'm going to jump up there and scream it from the mountaintops. I thought this was going to be easy for Izzy. I really do believe in skill over just raw power and ability, but Jan does have skills. He's not just, a slugger, a kickboxer. He definitely is a well-rounded MMA fighter, and size does matter. We gotta end the argument. And no, I agree with Dana. I do not want to see Israel Adesanya versus John Jones. I'm good. I think Izzy, there are so many challenges that can bubble up at 155 that I'm not interested, at least at this point in his career. If he advances in his career and he shows, he's still relatively young. I think he's 31, 32. Men fill out. He might have already filled out. But he might, start to develop a little bit. You see that out of John Jones. He's gotten bigger as he's gotten older, a little just thicker. You might see that out of him, and I would want to see, because I really feel like when you saw Jan on top of Izzy in the 4th and 5th rounds, it was just apparent. It was very clear that the size was a huge factor there. But shout out to Izzy for the fighter spirit, and how he handled the loss is so important. That's what I take, man. He didn't give up. He saw this as a dip in his story. And some people might say that's corny. Like, that's not real. You can't really feel that way after a loss. But I would argue, in order to perform at the level and get to the levels that Izzy has, you have to have that mentality. Because, not to preach, but it might sound preachy, but if anything you get great at, you have to fail. You have to suck. Just like this game, you guys are watching me suck, but I'm going to get great. I've gotten better. Because I'm going to stick at it. I love talking with everybody. The stream is awesome for me, and just getting a break from the real world and everything. Anything that I'm willing to be great at, which this game, for example, I know I'm going to fail. And Izzy's taking that same mentality, man. Because every time you fail at something, you just give up and say, oh, I suck. The world is right. I was never going to do this. You're never going to get anywhere. And so I really was proud. Another thing that I really was blown away by was Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz was, he's 35. Honestly, I'm going to keep it real. I wrote Dominic Cruz off a little bit. I felt like, okay, we've seen his decline. He relies so much on this movement and being fluid, and he's had these injuries, these recurring injuries, some not related to his footwork, but some significant injuries that were Donato in the house. What up, Coach Donato? Coach Donato, welcome. I'm just sitting in here talking to myself, getting all my UFC 259 emotions out. Just talked about, I opened the stream with Izzy's response to his loss. And I think it's important that we always, first and foremost, honor the winner, Jan Blachowicz, which I did not think was going to win. I was wrong. I predicted incorrectly. I really thought he was going to get outclassed. I didn't just think Jan was going to lose. I thought he was going to get outclassed by Izzy. But all respect to him. He put on a great performance. But Izzy in his loss, showing that he's not giving up. He's going to march forward. And I honestly compliment Conor. I'm not the biggest Conor fan. But I compliment Conor for having a similar kind of approach to the game and how he takes losses extremely well. Comes out, faces the cameras, faces the music, so to speak. Coach Donato says he thought Izzy would win too. I really did. I got to switch my microphones here because my controllers don't seem to be working. So now you should be able to hear me a little bit differently, but we're keeping it going. All right. But as I was saying right before you came in here, I was really impressed with Dominic Cruz. I mean, that's another one. I was wrong about Dominic Cruz. He took the L like a champ, Coach Donato says. He's talking about Coach Donato's talking about Israel Adesanya. He says he took the L like a champ in the post-fight interview. Absolutely. Excuse my sneezing. I got some pepper. My wife's cooking, and the pepper's driving me crazy. But yeah, it was truly. It bolsters my respect. Like, I get more respect for fighters after seeing how they react to a loss. I really do. It sounds weird, but knowing that they're, it's like they share something with you. You watch them fail, especially the guys that are really bright, like a Conor or an Izzy. I can't think of the last guy who didn't handle it extremely well. Like, most guys either just don't face the music or they just say, yeah, I lost and move on. But there have been, actually, you know what? Ronda Rousey's somebody that did not take losing well at all. And by the way, we are getting kicked off with our first title defense in Ranked, Season 6. Right into Ranked. Looks like this is a welterweight fight. But yeah, I was impressed. I'm bouncing all over, but Ronda Rousey was one of those people who took the loss terribly, and I was shocked by it because I was such a huge fan, and I am. I respect what Ronda did, but it was hard when you, Coach Nelson, it's just like in this game. It's the losses that help you the most. It really is. When you go in here and you just wipe the floor with somebody, it feels great and it looks cool, and you're just clicking. But those losses where you're actually struggling and fighting, not where you get starched or where you've seen me get starched, those aren't necessarily as helpful. Where you see me fighting Critical Sandman and I just get rolled over and submitted. But the ones where you're grinding and you're struggling to survive, that's like that when you're working out and you're getting into failure. That's where the work is. That's where the growth is. That's where the development is when you're in failure and you keep pushing. The name is Big Post. I never fought him before. He's Division 5, first fight of the division for me.
You ready? Are you ready?
Fighting is Leon Edwards. Next week, we have Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad, which is something I'm super excited for. I wish if Bilal was in this game, I would do a AI versus AI. By the way, shout out to everybody that viewed our Amanda Nunez versus Megan Anderson AI versus AI. By far and away, Donato says, I'm pretty close to 200 fights total since I started. Dude, you've got the bug. Coach Donato's got the bug. That's how you're beyond the starting point. You're in here with us. You understand that. I think it's been a while. You are in here. I'd be interested to see how you fight. I'd love to warm up with you one day, or just get a spar, or just see where your skills are at. It's unusual to see somebody pick up the game this late in the series, but also like it. And you're successful, Coach Donato. You've said that you've beaten people that have been playing, and you understand kind of the flow of this whole thing. The peaks and the valleys, as Israel Adesanya said. Oh, big post going for the takedown. Oh. But last night, I was definitely, overall, I'm going to be honest with you, as excited as I was for the fights, I might have gotten myself too hyped, because I found myself bored. Through a significant portion of those fights, I was just bored with it. I was like, okay, I came here with the energy, but it seems like the fights weren't matching. Even in the Izzy fight, it was not the most entertaining affair. Of course, Amanda Nunez bringing the heat. Versus Megan Anderson. This guy is really patient. I need to slow him down a little bit by hitting the body. Just trying to be patient. He's trying to get me to make a mistake, and I really don't want to. Coach Now says, yeah, we can definitely spar again soon. It would be interesting to hear how you think I've progressed. Yeah, I want to, for sure. Want to get in there and see, because that's a lot of rounds you've put in since, it's a lot of development. Okay, here we go. But yeah, I feel like I keep starting about Dominic Cruz and I don't finish my thought. Is I found, and I'm just talking to my boy Coach Donato. Hey, HOK Olives, what's up, my man? How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. We just met Olives, and he will be starting his own stream here. I think he's going to start streaming here soon. Start looking at streaming. I encourage most people to get involved, because everybody's got such a unique perspective, something that they can do, a little twist that they can offer the world, and different people hit with a lot of people and other people not so much. But it's a fun way to experience this game. But like I was saying, Dominic Cruz learned to, if you watch him when he was younger, that footwork that he was using, it was constant. It was like how he moved about the octagon, or the cage in WEC, in the octagon earlier on in the UFC. But as he's gotten older, realized that he can't do that. You get older, you got to slow down a little bit, and he does it in bursts. And it's very interesting looking at how he deploys that footwork now. It's not just a constant dance. It's like he's in and out of the pocket, using that footwork to do it. And truly amazing. Really cool to watch Dominic Cruz progress. Oh, I needed that takedown. Needed that takedown. Oh, I thought I blocked that. This guy really is putting pressure on me. There you go. Oh, God. Oh! Okay, that didn't do as much damage as it looked like. That overhand looked like it should have just destroyed me. Got to remember to use my feints. Give him something to think about by changing levels, head and body shots. Man, honestly felt like I blocked that. My goal is to block that overhand and then try to switch it up by getting into the clinch. And that's what I'll do if he goes again. I think he wants to pop that. He wants to pop the overhand. Ah. Taj Tennant, what's up? Taj Tennant, how you doing, my guy? Welcome to the stream. Post-fight, Coach Donato says, what's up, Taj? Taj and I were discussing kind of how we felt about UFC 259 already, man. It was an experience. I'm glad, you know. And, of course, the Aljamain Sterling controversy was a big deal. My friend reached out to me, a guy that I actually met playing. I've talked about him on the stream before. I met through playing Fight Night Champion. A very close friend of mine now is asked me what do I think about that Aljamain Sterling, the way he won the title from Petr Yan, which once again was by disqualification from an illegal knee to a grounded opponent. And I said, I think Aljo played it up. I think he was doing a little bit of acting. But in that situation, against Petr Yan, with the way that fight was going, I would have probably... I don't blame him for doing it. I think he was hurt by that knee. I think if he was pressed, if the rule was he wouldn't have gotten that belt, we might have seen a different reaction from him. Yeah, Taj Tennant said it. Aljo was losing and tired. He was. Aljo was losing and he was tired, and he was in phenomenal shape. So that was going to be a really hard loss. I think a lot of that crying that we saw from Aljo was almost an acknowledgement. I think there was knowledge that he was losing that fight, and a relief. Like, you know, geez, I was losing this fight, and now I'm coming out here and win. I got the win somehow. And it was almost hard to watch Aljo take that approach to fighting Petr Yan. The way how calm Petr was, when he was just so measured and clean and so efficient with his striking, and Aljo looked so much more frenzied and striking without, his feet weren't planting and planted, and he was just didn't look like a guy that wasn't feeling the moment. He was clearly feeling the weight of that title fight. And I'm talking about Aljo here. Taj said he knew it wasn't good enough. He gave it his all, and just to be given a belt, that's a tearjerker, almost like a handout. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt, because he knew right away, like, I lost this fight, or I was about to lose this fight. I'm getting the belt. It makes you wonder when you've essentially lost the fight, yet you have the belt, like Aljo has. It's a wrap. First ranked fight of the season, able to pull off a messy submission. I didn't like that fight. I'm not proud of how I looked there. It was really a struggle. But we did it. That's what matters at the end of the day. I have a lot of criticism for myself. I just felt sloppy, slow. I feel personally great. Happy to be here. I was excited to stream. I am excited to stream. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Coach Donato. Says nice sub. We are in there like swimwear. Got our first victory. Puts us in Division 7 right off the bat. Let's see where we're at. That was a rhyme. I busted a rhyme for just you, Coach Donato. And the other two people in here, I don't know if Taj is still in here, but bust a rhyme for whoever is in earshot. Let's look at our fight history here. We are Ethan. What's up, my man? Welcome back to the stream. Coach Donato says he's been trying to get more ground game work in. Hey, man, Donato, anytime, Coach, you want to get some ground game in, any groundwork in, let me know. I'd be happy to just roll with you and just, go through a fight where we just, grapple if you want. Let me know whenever you want to do that. But right now, we are 4-1. Lost the OG Bulldog. 4,000th in the world. Yikes. But we are going to climb 4,600th in the world. It's active. UFC is active. I've seen a lot of complaints in our last stream. We were talking about Prioxy and some other people that may have had some complaints about the game. I noticed that Prioxis, that had some issue. I noticed he's released some videos. He's still playing. Coach Donato asked, so is Season 6 officially kicked off? Yeah, Season 6 kicked off, I think, 2 days ago, Coach. But before you actually see your division points in ranked, you have to fight like 5 qualifying fights to know which division you qualify for to start off. So I went 1 of 4-1 in my first 5 fights, so they put me in Division 7, and here we are. And I didn't see what Ethan said. Ethan, let's get back to the stream. Give me 1 second here. I need to reset my computer. I haven't reset it in a long time. It's moving super slow, in case you needed to know that. Maybe I can get back to YouTube faster on my darn phone. Ethan says underrated. No. Wow, that's crazy. The last time I was watching, or on this, Humble Wrestler, Division 6. I feel like I fought this guy before. Okay, Ethan says, my boy Piotr had the fight in the bag and tried to murder him in the hot tub. Yeah, man, that was how you kill somebody for real. That was a vicious knee. That was a vicious knee. And I did mention that I felt like Aljo hammed it up a little bit. But without a doubt, that was a rough knee to take for anybody. He had to have been actually feeling that. Oh, I had to mute my computer right there. So I was talking to you guys. Coach Donato says, I'll hop on when my Miss Coach Donato is done with City Skyline. She's listening in. Oh, cool. Awesome. But to answer your question, Coach Donato, yeah, Season 6 has been kicked off. I just have finally gotten through just got through my first 5 fights. That last fight was my first one. Aljo, the Grammy Award-winning Oscar actor of 2021. Yeah, Ethan, I think that's fair. I think that's fair to point that out. Like, Aljo, it just looked like, he was definitely, the way he was keeping his eyes wide open, and it was just an unusual reaction to being rocked or, KO'd. It typically doesn't look like that, but you never know. Only he really knows. Ethan says it should have been a no contest. It should have been a no contest. I was mad. Ethan was pissed off. He wanted Piotr to win. And to watch Aljo take that belt from a guy like Piotr, who seems like such a killer. For Piotr to lose that belt that way, I understand as a Piotr fan why you're upset, but I think the rules, Ethan, need to stay where they're at. I like the fact that there's that much on the line for the champ, that if you do something illegal, because that gives a champion the incentive to, you're desperate to keep your belt. Think about it. Imagine being a high-level champion. You're GSP in his prime. So you've got sponsors. You've got all sorts of stuff on the line. Well, why wouldn't you, if you're coming into a fight maybe injured or just not fighting at your best, why wouldn't you maybe bite someone on their back or give an intentional low blow? Because, hell, it's going to be a no contest. You retain your title, you just stop the fight, giving yourself a little bit more preparation time and another shot at retaining your belt. I feel like the right decision is to keep it this way. Keep it illegal. If you end a fight by doing something illegal, that's it. You lose your belt. Ethan says he was completely dominating the last 3 rounds, though. He didn't mean to. Absolutely. He didn't mean to do it. And so, Ethan, that's where there is a disconnect, because he did mean to do it. That was a huge part of the decision, is that he asked, hey, can I do it? He said this, by the way, to his team. His team said, go ahead, you can strike, it's legal. So they made a decision, and he struck intentionally with Aljo in that position. So it was an intentional strike. But furthermore, the ref also said, hey, it's illegal. He warned Piotr before the strike that it was illegal. And Ethan says, but they didn't strip John for doing it to Anthony Smith. And that is the truth. And Ethan, I don't want you to think that I'm just marking for John Jones or I hate Piotr. I like Piotr. And I think I predicted that he was going to win that fight, in fact. I just didn't see that Aljo was going to win. But, that's a huge but, Anthony Smith didn't lose his belt to didn't get the belt from John Jones when John Jones threw an illegal knee, because Anthony Smith chose to keep on fighting. He said, I can keep going, and made that decision. And he chose to keep it going. He could have, said, I'm not capable, but he made a decision. So those are two different situations. And I'm not standing. Once again, I'm not in the bag for Aljo. I really didn't have a dog in that fight. I thought it was two super talented guys. Two of the right guys fighting for the belt. Number 1 and number 2 were in the octagon last night. Ethan says, I know he kept fighting, but his dumbass always keeps going. That's why Glover battered him. El Jefe, what's up, El Jefe Choi? How you doing, my man? El Jefe Choi on Twitch. You just search for him, El Jefe Choi. El Jefe says, it falls on Jan. It absolutely falls on Jan. It's just without a doubt. And it's hard to, it's his corner. It was absolutely intentional, even if Ethan said that he didn't see Aljo's legs on the ground. Ethan says, it's all right. Piotr will murder him in a rematch. I don't have a reason to argue with you on that, Ethan, because Piotr was winning this fight. Piotr was winning this fight, and he just looks like he's got the number. And El Jefe Choi says, especially when the ref's telling you, it's an illegal shot. you know. And El Jefe says he doesn't know about that. I tend to agree. I think Piotr, unless the fight with Aljo doesn't happen for months, and Aljo can change his game plan, like condition, do something, make some significant changes, because he just looked too amped. He's got to be prepared to go 5 rounds. Ethan says Jan doesn't speak fluent English. He could have easily not understood the ref. But here's the thing, Ethan, and I just understand what you're saying. He said, well, maybe Ethan's saying, well, maybe the Piotr didn't understand as a native Russian-speaking guy. Maybe Piotr didn't understand what the ref was saying, and I understand that's possible. But the problem is, Piotr asked his corner in Russian, "Hey, can I throw the strike?" His corner said yes. His corner assessed the situation and said yes. So let's pretend that he didn't not pretend, but let's assume that he didn't understand what the ref said. He intentionally threw that strike on the advice of his corner. So either way you look at it, it was illegal. It shouldn't have, it was intentional. It was illegal and subject to exactly what happened. El Jefe Choi says Aljo was nervous the first 2 rounds and gassed himself. El Jefe Choi says he'll be better. He'll be better prepared the next time around. And there's a woo! There was, yeah, you can make that argument. It's a wrap. Woo! Had to put him down. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, you really don't see him out here too much. Respect to whoever this guy is. Sorry for the no disrespect. Don't remember who he is. That was a good finish. Like that hook. Beautiful. Thank you, El Jefe Choi. El Jefe Choi says, nice drop, bro. Ethan says, not intentionally illegal, though, because he didn't know the knee was down. So, you know, that's Ethan. I don't want to argue. I don't want you to feel like I'm hating on you. Please, I'm saying this in like we're sitting at the barber shop having a conversation. Like we're just going back and forth in friendly terms. I'm just telling you, dude. More wraps set on a Subway menu tonight. That's right, Coach Donato. I'm stealing it. He said there are more wraps than Subway on the menu. That's mine now. Yoink, taking it, Coach Donato. But whether Piotr knew that knee was on the ground or not, it's irrelevant. Whether he could see it, it was. He has a responsibility as a professional athlete, Ethan, to mind his opponent and be aware of his opponent's position in the octagon. It's just part of his responsibilities at this level. And listen, this isn't going to be the last time this happens to a champion. I'm shocked that this is, by the way, the first time in UFC history that a belt has changed hands due to an illegal strike. The first time in UFC history. So we did see history last night, even without Izzy losing. So Ethan says, and El Jefe Choi says he's laughing. Let's see where we're at in our record here. Ethan says, I'm ready for Jan to take his belt back from the fake champ actor. Man, hey, I'm telling you, look at your emotion, Ethan. There's excitement around this fight. I think there's going to be more anticipation. The controversy made this an interesting fight for the next time. And if Aljo can pull it off, boy, that's a way to make yourself to take a step in the mainstream column. Overcoming the odds like that. That would be something special. Taj Tennant says, nah, I call foul. Like, you know that he was on the ground because he never tried to get up and he should have just threw punches. And I agree. That's what he should have done as a professional. El Jefe Choi says, trust me, he wasn't acting, man. So that El Jefe, so that's where I differ. I feel like he may have put some extra on it, like LeBron. LeBron flops. You know, we've seen it. But LeBron's so high level. It's like it's not cheating. But if you're, that saying, if you're not cheating, you ain't trying. It's like any little edge you can take for some guys that perform at the highest level, like Aljo is, like Piotr Jan is. It's what you do. So we were just at 4,800 in the world. Now we're at 3,300. Excuse me. So yes, Taj Tennant says, I feel like I would know if somebody was on the ground with how solid they feel with no tension. The tension would let me know they're getting up, if that makes sense. Yes, that makes sense. How sturdy they're on the ground. Because if a guy, look, how low of a squat, if a guy is that low on the ground and he's on his feet and his knees aren't on the ground, El Jefe, thank you. He says, killing it, coach. Appreciate that, man. Coming from you, I appreciate that. If a guy, you would know if a guy's on his feet. If he's doing a low squat, he's not going to be stable. If he's that solid, yeah, he's on his knees. There's no other way for that to work. Ethan says, yes, I may have been emotionally invested before and after. There you go, Ethan. I've been there with you, my man. I've done it. With Anderson Silva, I've been there. I've let my emotions cloud my judgment, and it's going to happen again. And I've been there before. Maybe even against Conor in the second Nate Diaz fight, because I feel like Conor did not win that fight. I just feel like Conor lost twice to Nate Diaz, no matter what anybody says to me. Ethan also says, no, Jan thought Aljo was getting up and need him, not arguing, just stating his opinion. Yeah, no, there is no arguing, my man. Either way, Jan will beat his ass again in the rematch. Ethan says, Aljo acted like he died when he proceeded to do a post-fight interview. Dude, it's a joke. Okay, yeah, I can't ride with you on calling Aljo a joke. I just can't. And thank you for everybody who liked. I appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Hit the notification bar or bell or whatever that thing is. I appreciate you for joining us. But, yeah, El Jefe. Yeah, no, we are just talking MMA, dude. Yeah, nobody's going to take anything personally. I love that. Just keeping it real. That's all we're doing. We're just chatting it up. And that's good. I respect your opinion. Rear Naked, what's up, man? That Jan Aljo situation was crazy. Did you see who Aljo just... hold on one second. I'll be right there to get caught up. I'll be right there. This is B-Boy Geronimo 420 using Khamzat Chimaev. Another guy you don't see a lot of. By the way, that's Rear Naked MMA at Twitter. Or at Rear Naked MMA on Twitter. You can find him there. Breaking MMA news on the regular. He just called for a title fight against Cejudo next. Aljo knows how to piss people off for real. Wow. Aljo is taking the troll route. He's leaning into it. And good for him. I just felt my heart. As I just read the news that Rear Naked just broke to me, my heart just skipped a beat. I'll have a choice as, man, he's trying to get paid. What's up? Oh, yes, what's up, my man, Rear Naked? Yeah, Aljo, after I heard that, I got my heart skipped a beat in, like, no, he didn't. Like, that's going to drive people crazy that Aljo is just, that he did that. And I think it's a heck of a move of him to, I mean, that's where the dollars go. He's getting eyes on that fight. El Jefe Choi says it's an interesting fight, though. Yeah. Dude, Henry Cejudo versus Aljo, I'm more interested. If that happened, I wouldn't be, let's say Piotr Jan is injured or something. I wouldn't be upset if we got that fight. If Aljo's like, nah, I want to take this opportunity. I want to fight Henry Cejudo. And for whatever reason, the UFC made that happen, I wouldn't be upset. And I know a lot of people would be. Because Piotr is loved. Piotr, believe it or not, if Piotr gets this title back, dude's going to be a star. He's just, if he beats Aljo, I mean, Cejudo, Rear Naked says Cejudo would piece up Aljo in his opinion. Jan is about to be super mad. Yes. Ethan, he will be. Jan is about to be pissed. Ethan says, never seen a faker champion in my entire life. Gets his ass beat for 20 minutes and is switching it up. El Jefe Choi says, yeah, but I understand why people would be upset. Yeah, El Jefe, I think that's almost the point. But I'm with El Jefe on this. I get the anger. I'm not going to, play dumb here. That would, if I don't know how to explain. Like, I just wasn't that emotionally invested in this fight. But if I were, let's say somebody I love, like an Israel Adesanya or a Justin Gaethje, were in that situation, I'd be pissed. I almost feel like Justin Gaethje kind of was in that situation, but I would be pissed. So kind of looking back, he's called for a title fight. What's up? Terrified of Jan. Ethan says he's terrified of Jan. He's such a joke. Coach Donato says, I just think on to the next. It's water under the bridge now. That's interesting. Aljo acted like he died. Yeah, Rio Naked says, surely it would have made more sense for the UFC to strip Jan of the belt instead of just giving it to Aljo. I mean, once again, I don't like that. I don't like the idea that once again benefits the champion, because it effectively gives the champion a second shot of retaining the belt uninterrupted. If you understand what I'm saying, Rear Naked, it's that let's say a guy has a lot on the line. I already said this. Let's say a guy, Ethan's like, oh, not this again. But Ethan says it should have been a no contest. This is absolutely disgusting. El Jefe Choi says it just holds up to the vision, though. It does. Coach Nato's asking vacate the belt. Yeah, that's what Rear Naked is saying, is that that instead of giving the belt to Aljo, if you can't continue the fight, if a fight gets discontinued because a champion does something illegal and the fight can't go on as a result, it should be stripped and the belt should be vacated and there should be a second fight to determine who gets it. But a desperate champion would rather do something illegal if there's enough money on the line than lose a fight fair and square and just say, hey, I never lost the belt. It was just, there's a no contest and I fought again and got another crack at it. How are you the champion after getting your ass beat for 20 minutes? It wasn't even close, Ethan says. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say, I would say it was, Aljo did better. Oh, God. Aljo did better than Aljamain Sterling did better than Aljo. And then Aldo. Jeez Louise. So I would consider Jose's beatdown, I would say that was an ass whooping. I wouldn't say Aljo got his ass whooped. He lost that fight, but that wasn't an ass whooping, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be surprised if Aljo were to do better, for example, in the next fight. I would be surprised if Aldo did better against Piotr Jan in another fight. I don't want to see that again. Aljo's pics on Instagram were taking the piss and being released from the hospital and drinking alcohol straight after. Yeah. El Jefe Choi says, yeah, I wouldn't say that. Yeah, no. That's something that stood out to me. If anybody watched the Embedded before, and you can go back now, I don't know which episode of Embedded it was, but Aljo mentioned that's essentially what he's looking forward to doing. He's like, I like to drink. He's like, oh no, I think it was actually an interview. He's like, I like to drink. And when this fight got delayed, because, this fight was postponed from December, he basically said that he needed a priority of his, essentially, was measuring how long he had to, not party and not drink, which is kind of crazy. It's like, yeah, he might even be better if he laid off of that entirely. And I suspect he likes to party very hard, which, hey, good for him. Ethan says he was on the road to getting battered to death. That's why he took the easy route and faked it to not continue. I understand your passion, Ethan. I get it. I too have a sense that he added a little sass onto this illegal knee. But go look at the knee again, Ethan. That was brutal. I mean, I don't know if you've ever, I've taken a knee to the head before, not in a combat, but in sports. An accidental knee, it feels like a bat. It may as well have been a bat hitting you in the head. It's awful. I couldn't imagine kneeling there and having a man that's trained to throw that strike blast you in the head at knee level. Just like, I don't doubt that he was legitimately injured. He probably put some sass on it, but I don't think we can go as far as to say he was just acting entirely. Rear Naked says, I mean, if Aljo stuck with his original demeanor straight after the fight, I wouldn't be that mad. But then to go on Instagram, talking, and then going and partying, I'm assuming is what you're going to say next, that is rubbing salt in the wound. That is an inconsistent. Like, I'm not going to deny that. A lot of people are going to be upset, and they should be. This is going to be the story of Aljo's championship, which is not what I anticipated from him. I thought if he got that belt, he would be like a clean champion and it would be good. But this might be the beginning of like heel Aljo turning into like a TJ Dillashaw type of guy. That's another surprise. Rear Naked, I will read those two comments in just a minute. But that was another surprise. Aljo needs a hell of a turn to do a hell of a turn. Yeah, I thought TJ Dillashaw was another guy that started off squeaky clean, super cool to me. And to watch how he became this villain in MMA was shocking. We might be watching the same thing happen with Aljo here. By the way, I'm in a ranked match and don't know what's happening. Totally obsessed about the fights. Oh! Woo! Come on. No. Get up, boy. No. That was dumb. Oh my goodness. That was such a silly mistake to make on my part. Got out of it. That made no sense. Getting up. Oh. There you go. I think we got that one. But Rear Naked, actually Ethan said he was on the road to getting battered to death. That's why he took the, and then Ethan says, I've watched it a bunch. I love it. Aljo wanted to talk all that and then get brutally beat down. So, JMMA, what's up? Goat. Of course, JMMA enters, calling me the GOAT. Of course. Rear Naked says, at least on the positive note, the UFC weren't stupid enough to continue the fight. I genuinely thought they were going to consider continuing that fight. Rear Naked, I definitely thought they were going to try to continue that fight as well. Aljo needs to do a heel turn. Yes, that's what he needs to do, man. Donato says, so I have to say this. I would rather knee Aljo in the face than wait for Aljo to come from a crouch. The boy Jay. The boy Jay. Yeah, I don't know if you know him, El Jefe. Oh, yeah, you're talking about JMMA. I thought you were talking about B-Boy Jay. I was like, oh, how do you know this guy just fought? No, yeah, JMMA in the building. Got his own channel. Just started kicking things off last week. Check him out. But, yeah, a heel turn would be perfect for Aljo. So Coach Donato, once again, says, so I have to say this. I would rather knee Aljo in the face. All right, just read that. To catch him with some Kung Fu Panda nonsense. Yeah, I don't know if that was going to happen, the Kung Fu Panda thing, because Aljo was really in a submissive position. So it wasn't like he was going to spring up and hit him with some, wild stuff. JMMA says, I can write a whole paragraph. Well, tell me. I want to see the paragraph. What do you think? I want to know who came up with that. Okay, yeah, no problem. Yeah, JMMA says, what's up to JMMA says, what's up, Rear Naked MMA? Let's check the leaderboards. We hopped up to 2,700. We are right now 6-1. Ethan says he could write a story of how Aljo is Piotr's biatch. I would never. Man, Ethan, you really don't like this, and I understand where you're coming from. Coach Donatus is just making sure he's down. Yeah, man, I don't. I see the controversy. I hope I'm not annoying you guys by saying the same thing over again. I get why you're upset. I understand why Piotr Jan fans might feel robbed, but I don't think what Aljo did was like egregious, just because of how vicious that knee was. The knee was really freaking bad, man. That was a vicious, illegal shot to take. I frankly don't know. I mean, outside of a soccer kick, that's really up there as bad as an illegal shot as you can get in MMA. So, just making sure he's down. So I didn't see that last comment from Rear Naked. Hopefully everybody else got it. No Mercy fans take on the funk. Nerds need to settle this. Okay, so let's see here. So JMMA says, yes, Jan was pouring it on Aljo, but let's not act like the fight was just domination. People are acting like Jan's a great wrestler. I'm a grappler. I'm a grappler. So I see it differently. He was giving up the takedown. Rear Naked says that DQ cost me like 200 pounds, 200 euros, as well as goddamn you, Aljo. Goddamn you, Aljo. That's funny as hell. Not laughing at your loss, but the way you said that is funny, Rear Naked. Donato says, I'm not one bit upset as long as I'm not picking my teeth out of somebody's knee. I understand. Yeah, no. Yeah, JMMA, I kind of tend to side with you on that a little bit more. I really do feel like what we saw was more, it wasn't a domination. It wasn't just like a complete annihilation for 4 rounds. Aljo was losing that fight, though. But it wasn't utter domination. And like I said, we're going to run that back. Honestly, if I would be surprised if this Henry Cejudo thing did come into play. I really would. Rear Naked MMA says, we have to admit, though, those takedowns from Jan were beautiful. They were honestly beautiful. I'm not just agreeing for the sake to agree. A lot about Piotr Jan his game was beautiful. His patience, his measured approach. I don't know what his accuracy was, but it's got to be he was super accurate. Ethan says, Jan takes over in the later rounds. He was about to murder Aljo with the knee. I mean, he essentially landed the knee that you're saying he was about to murder him with, and we saw what happened. Rear Naked said those trips were so satisfying. Yeah, man. We're watching MMA evolve right in front of us. I feel like the day of the power double, maybe even the single, being the dominant way of getting the takedown is like it's leaving. Oh, sorry about that. Ethan said without the knee. Yeah, my bad, Ethan. That day of the power double, like that traditional wrestler takedown, I feel like we're seeing the end of it. And these beautiful trips, these things that we're seeing out of grappling events. I'll read these comments in just a second. Let me just focus here. There's a lot of text. I want to hear what everybody has to say. I love this. Right now, fighting Israel Adesanya at middleweight. I got to stop just moving around so much. This is a tough fight. This guy's a lower division than me, so I got a lot to lose here. Right now, you're going to be fighting killers because in low divisions because people are just now getting kicked off with the season. You know, I don't know who's what division. Everybody's kind of mixed in. Let's see here. All facts, LFHO says, about whatever. I need to read. I wish I could pause. You know, back in the day, you had pauses in these games. Like, you had, like, about a minute or maybe a minute and a half total pause time. I wish I could do that. Ethan says, absolutely not. Aljo looked good for one round. After that, he got absolutely toyed with and got out wrestled by a striker. Donato says, somebody order another wrap. I hope so. I hope we can wrap this up. I hope we can give an it's a wrap here, folks. I want to make sure we take Izzy down. Maybe wrestle him up a little bit, slow him down. Got the takedown. This guy does not want to be on his back, which is a sign, obviously, that he's not comfortable here. I mean, just the kind of freak out transitioning, it just sends a signal to me that this guy wants out. He wants to get up and start throwing all these Izzy techniques he can. So the next round, unfortunately, I'm bringing him down here again, but maybe we'll get to wrap things up soon after. And thank God this round is over because I want to read what everybody has to say. So, Rear Naked says, yeah, I agree, Jay. Just like the Aldo fight, he was consistently swarming Aldo, but the later rounds he really turned it up, which is, yeah, if Piotr Jan keeps a pace and then just keeps going, whether you slow down or not. JMMA says, Ethan, be honest. If Aljo actually paces himself for 5 rounds, he would beat Jan easy. When Aljo pressured Jan, he just froze. And back to the grappling thing, yeah, I've done BJJ tourneys. Done that in BJJ tourneys. JMMA is the real deal. So is Critical Sandman, by the way, who's out there choking people out. JMMA, I just give up the takedown so I can sweep the person. El Jefe Shoei says, all facts. Now says, somebody order another wrap. Ethan says, just lay on Izzy like Jan did. Yeah, that's what I'm pretty much about to do. I'm going to take this guy down and try to land on him. And by the way, Ethan, you're probably going to be like, unsubscribe. This guy's just arguing with me in every way. I don't feel like Jan just laid on Izzy. He had some pretty competent stand-up. Some moments that I was surprised by. His jab was effectively landing. Yeah, Izzy was slipping off a lot of those jabs, but he was making contact with several of them. Landed some straights. I mean, was really great at closing the distance, which is where I was surprised by, that Jan was able to. JMMA says, don't get me started on Izzy. And yeah, let's get started, Jay. What is it, man? Because honestly, if I'm giving you guys my honest opinion, when it comes to that fight, I felt like Izzy won 3 rounds. I think the third is arguable. The third, round 3 is arguable. I think for sure I felt like he round 1 and 2. Round 3 might be in contention, but round 4 and 5 were definitely Piotr Jan's. They were not 10-8 rounds. Ethan says Jan won that fair and square. No argument for the fight, but I will argue for Jan. Argue for Jan to death. Yeah, Jan is impressive though. Either way it goes, yeah, I don't think it wasn't a ripoff. It was just that could be my bias. Rear Naked says, I disagree with you on that, Jay. If he could have kept it up that pace for 5 rounds, he would be the bantamweight GOAT. It was insane. Who can keep up that pace unless you're Holloway? And I agree. I think that pace is insane. Aljo has never fought that way. I don't understand where that came from. I've never seen Aljo fight with that high a volume, those types of techniques. I mean, it wasn't like he was just 1-2, 1-2. Those are some high energy techniques he was throwing, my guys. I mean, that was pretty hard to I don't know how he's going to maintain that either. JMMA says, Izzy better stay at 185. Jan was flowing on Izzy in the last 2 rounds, and he doesn't have that top game John has. I hope Izzy beating John talk is over. Yeah, it's got to be over. Let's not entertain that anymore. That was a fantasy fight that shouldn't have happened. I don't want to see Israel Adesanya pass away in the octagon, because that's what would happen. I do not want to see a guy like John Jones, who is a wrestler, phenomenal wrestler in his own right, capable of taking down Daniel Cormier, taking down DC. Izzy versus Whitaker 2 is the fight to make if he gets past Costa, yeah. And let me tell you, if Costa gets past Whitaker, I don't want to see Costa versus Izzy 2 that quickly. So JMMA says, well, that's what I'm saying. He didn't pace himself well. He just came out wild. So JMMA saying, yeah, he won't come out at that pace. He'll fight more his normal pace next time, more consistent. And, yeah, that would be great if he would be willing to do that. Coach Nada says, I go by what the fighters say themselves. Izzy said his legs were gassed from a quick turnaround, and Jan said Izzy was slower than expected but stronger. Renega said Izzy versus Whitaker 2 is the fight to make. No one wants to see Costa versus Izzy, let's be honest. Yeah, no. Nobody wants to see that second fight. Costa's got to make some additions through his highlight reel. Make a case for himself to be put in that position. I don't want to see him near that belt, but I do want to see Robert Whitaker fight Izzy again. In the States, or Abu Dhabi, whatever. The reason why I say in the States, I'd be interested in keeping the cage smaller. And I want to see that again. I want to see those two go head-to-head, toe-to-toe, and just go at it again. Especially if Robert looks great against Costa, which might not happen. You know, Robert Whitaker might end up in a war with Paulo Costa, and that could change the landscape of the 185 division. That could make everybody say, yeah, let's see Costa versus Izzy. If there's just a classic fight. Oh, come on. Here we go. JMMA says he wasn't even clamping his wrist down on the takedowns. Aljo just shot for takedowns installed. I honestly don't know what he was doing when he was shooting. Yeah, I didn't notice the wrist clamping thing. I'm not a grappler like you, obviously. That you're looking at details, Jay, that I'm not seeing. I do pay attention to hands grasping, like when it comes to being on the cage and those two, when you clasp your hands. You're getting ready to get taken down. You're getting ready to perform a takedown. I understand that. I didn't pick up on what you picked up there. But yeah, he just looked like he had been putting a lot of effort, and he was just inefficient. And I feel like it was him succumbing to the moment. He fell under the weight of the pressure of that moment. I'm talking about Aljamain Sterling. And he fought real jittery and not calm and relaxed. The second fight, he might feel more familiar with Jan. He might keep his own pace. The pace that brought him to the dance. And that would be an interesting fight to see. We're Naked says, yeah, but if he paced himself to a more normal level, he would have been second best in the stand-up. I think that's why Aljo came up guns blazing to try to throw Jan off and not think about the takedown. Defense. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that must have been the plan against Piotr Jan, was like, look, don't let this guy get solid footing. We keep him moving back. Keep him on his backpedaling. Because there's not a lot of evidence that Piotr Jan fights well off of, fighting backwards. And the problem there is, that's a lot to ask. That's a 5-round fight with Piotr Jan, who's not going to break. Aljo didn't seem to have the pop on his punches to sit Piotr down. So that's a tough approach, man. I don't know if I would agree with that strategy, but who am I? I don't have the experience that Ray Longo and Matt Serra have, so maybe they're seeing something that we're not. So Ethan says, imagine going 7 for 7 on takedowns against someone who's supposed to be a wrestler. Aljo went 1 for 17. Fake champ, real actor, real bum. Damn, he hates Aljo. Ethan does. Rear Naked says Jan's boxing is so crisp and so technical. The only bad thing people could say about him was his grappling and takedown defense, which he showed he has in spades. Takedown defense specifically, not so much with the grappling.
30-27.
Rear Naked MMA says, Ethan, you got a lot of hate for Aljo. Yeah, man, Ethan really does, and that's the game though. Taj Tennant says, let's go into ranked at the same time. Let's do it, Taj Tennant. I will definitely do that. You can watch me go into rank, and I'll count to 3. I don't know. All right, there's going to be some latency, but we'll go into ranked. Before we hop in there, Ethan says, no mercy. Fans are brutal. Yeah, fans are cold, man. It's hard to be a fighter. I mean, there are a lot of people out there rooting for you to fail, wanting to see you. So we're at 2,200 at this point, not counting where we are in North America. In North America, we are 850th. So JMMA says, he's laughing. He says, I'm just saying Aljo was just hoping Jan followed up. Hold on, let me switch. It says he was hoping, Aljo was just hoping Jan followed up on those takedowns. Jan followed up on one takedown, and Aljo scrambled into a single leg. He said F that and just slammed him and backed up. Yeah. Man, I honestly, who would have thought that fight was the one that we all would be talking about most? And Taj Tennant, if you're ready, let me know. I'm going to search here right now. So 1, 2, 3, Taj Tennant, let's go. And for everybody, wow, we got some people in here. Thanks for joining. If you haven't had a chance, hit the like button, hit the notification so you can join us. And also hit the subscribe if you haven't. I want you to join us and contribute to our conversations. JMMA says that should have been the co-main event. No, you know what? I disagree. I feel like Amanda is big enough to where she should have been the co-main. I think putting Amanda's name on it, yeah, Taj, sorry, man. I wish we would have gotten it. I think putting Amanda on there is a big deal. Amanda can sell pay-per-views on her own, I think. She's hit the mainstream. It's known that she's the greatest women's fighter of all time. I feel like that marketing, that promotion has gotten into that's how we refer to her. That's how we see her. She's built up that image, and it's spot on. She is the greatest women's fighter I've ever seen, including Chris Cyborg. What are they going to do at 145 after Megan? Ethan says, I don't know who I dislike. Ethan says, I posted beforehand that I'm most hyped for Jan. Probably because I'm a Jan fan, but yeah, Piotr Jan, let me tell you, Ethan, more Aljo or that midget Volk. Yeah, Ethan, no, I honestly think your fandom for Piotr Jan, it's coming. Other people feel the same way you do. And if Piotr Jan gets his belt back, he can do it. He can kind of have that Khabib type of legacy. LFA says so much hate. There is a lot of hate, that's for sure. Yeah, that's true. JMMA says, yeah, that's true. I feel like Val beat her in the second fight. Sadly, Valentina is not going up to 135. And hold on, I'll read the rest of that in just a second. Flying High is the opponent here. Anthony Johnson versus Daniel Cormier. This guy is taking it, being very patient. So am I. I'm not trying to... I just barely saw that Rear Naked MMA thinks that they should disband the women's 145 title. I'll read these comments in just a second, guys. I definitely... women's 145 is worse than the men's flyweight division ever was. And they were definitely considering shutting down the men's 145-pound division. I don't know. I don't know what I would do in that situation. I don't know if there are women out there that that you can get. I know I forget the woman from PFL that is interesting that won the women's tournament over in PFL. I forget her name. I mean, that's one person out there. I don't watch Invicta enough. I'm not familiar with their 145-pound division. I know that they have a featherweight division in Invicta. Not sure how talented they are. Kayla Harrison. Thank you, JMMA. Kayla Harrison. I mean, I'm interested in Kayla Harrison versus Amanda. I think, you know, and also Clarissa Shields. Clarissa Shields is making her debut in the PFL soon. I want to say in June, I think I read that Clarissa Shields, one of the best women's boxers, once again in history, is crossing over to MMA. Renega says Clarissa Shields, Kayla Henderson are the only ones who could beat her, but that's BS. Yeah, I wouldn't put a lot of stock in the fact that Clarissa Shields is going to be coming over from boxing and would stand any chance this early in that conversion or anytime soon of beating Amanda Nunes. It's just not how life works. I'm not going to, let's say I played baseball. Michael Jordan played basketball, was great at it. Crossed over to baseball, two ball sports. Listen, he wasn't as good. It's not going to happen. He wasn't a championship player for a reason. Ethan says he doesn't have any interest in any female fights, which is something I've heard, an expression I've heard from other people. I love them. I get just as excited for female fights as I do male fights. It just depending on what. And there's just not as many high-level female fights, but I love watching the development over there as well. JMMA says, I love Clarissa, but she's not beating Amanda. No way she's not beating Amanda, JMMA. Ethan says he doesn't like any women, MMA fighters. JMMA says, I mean, Holly did it, but Greg Jackson made her do kickboxing before they fully committed on it. That is an excellent point. Holly Holm did it, but it took years. El Jefe Choi, yeah, there's no way, even if she trains with Jones at Jackson's, yeah. She could train with Jones. She could train. It took Greg Jackson and Michael Winklejohn years to get Holly to a point where she could be in the UFC. And even when Holly was in the UFC, you could see she wasn't developed where she is now. Now, Holly can grapple. Holly does well against the cage. Holly is competent on the ground. She wasn't that way when she first hit the UFC. Very different fighter. So Clarissa's going to have some ups, some downs, unless she's just some freak of nature, which she's not. There is footage of her throwing her first kicks out there, and she clearly has never thrown a kick ever, in her life to kick the way she did. So there's got to be a lot of progress, but hey, I'm not denying her. JMMA says, the only women's fighter I actually get excited for is Valentina Shevchenko. Valentina Shevchenko, for you is special, JMMA. Valentina is truly, like, as special as Amanda Nunes is, Valentina is just as special. And just as capable. I think I saw somebody say that they don't think Valentina would go up to 35s. I don't see why she wouldn't. I think she's capable of beating Amanda. And right now, the only one that's capable of beating Amanda. And if you want to have a super fight, if you want to put Amanda, you do that in a super fight, that is one that's available for her. The third fight, even though Valentina lost both of them, if Valentina can win her next fight, I would love to see that. I think that's a super fight to make at 35s for sure. I didn't see Rear Naked's laughing at something Donato said. I didn't see Donato's comment. Let me see this here. Oh no! I'll read everybody's comment in between the round. Meanwhile, I got to get back into paying attention to what the heck is going on right here. We have a rough situation here. I honestly get so lost in the conversation that I don't know if I'm winning these fights, losing these fights. Got 35 seconds left, and I'll get to what we're all here for is the MMA talk, for what I'm here for. Of course, we all love UFC 4. Ethan says, I don't think there's one female fighter I could be excited for. Jeez Louise, Ethan. I respect your opinion. And you're free to have it. The only one, okay, so Rear Naked says, watch. Ethan says, I don't know, man. My friends all skip the girl fights. Rear Naked says, watch Stipe's first fight in the UFC. Him and Whitaker are the most improved fighters from their debut. I will definitely check that out. And I've met Stipe. He's a great guy. Donato says, I never liked chick fights until I started kicking the guts out of people with Joanna. Then I started to branch out to others, kicking the guts. Rear Naked says, oh, man, Valentina is smoking hot as well. JMMA says she can make 35s for sure, but she's going to be undersized. I think that whole reason why she went to 125. Yeah, I agree with you, JMMA. She's undersized, and she probably feels that the weight, the size of Amanda is the primary reason that Amanda is capable of beating her. Rear Naked says, I've met Stipe. That's cool. Yeah, I definitely met Stipe. I met him at a fight, and it was after he'd lost to Junior Dos Santos, and a controversial. Ethan Sandman says food break when Amanda came on the last night's fight. Oh my God, that's brutal. Sandman hates women's MMA. I don't know why. He's missing out. Oh God, got taken down again here. I'll get back to the comments in just a second. I want to make sure that we solidify a win. Somehow Flying High is getting these takedowns at me. Oh. Rear Naked says, yeah, I low-key made food during the Nunez fight. Oh my God, the guys are brutal. I just think it'll take time. It'll take time. I respect your guys' opinion. Not into it. That's fair. But I just say give it a chance. You're missing out on some really good fights. And they're just getting better. It's way fun to watch the development. And their finishes. There are finishes there, man. I mean, you'll eventually get it. If you watch it, you'll eventually get it. Ethan says laughing his ass off. He bets the majority took breaks. He was laying, eating Takis. The JMMA says the disrespect Stipe is getting is crazy. I have a legit question. What has Stipe shown to convince this many people that he's starched? Hold on. Francis. Okay, yeah. I don't know, Jay. I don't know. No, don't worry about it, Jay. I get what you're saying. So Jay's asking, like, why isn't Stipe getting the respect he deserves? Like, why are people writing him off and thinking that Francis is just going to whoop his ass, especially after you saw what happened in their first meeting? And I don't know what it is about Stipe. He's constantly the underdog. Maybe it's his presence. He really doesn't have a lot to say. He's not the loudest, he doesn't have the biggest presence in the room. And Francis is this, like, scary looking, woo! It's a wrap! Put him down, excuse me for the disrespect. We put him down. We got that one off at the last seconds. Stipe is a monster. Renee says, 100%. Jay, it's absolute bullshit. BS. JMMA says, doesn't have a lot to say because he can't speak proper English. Yeah, that might be. If you're talking about Stipe, that's funny. It kind of is. Donato says, it's two people trying to punish each other for money, fame, and glory. It's modern-day gladiators, and the mob loves it. Yes, we do. I'm here for it. Look at this, Coach. Taj Tennis says he's 234th in the world and 90th in the USA. Congratulations, Taj Tennis. You are, once again, You are excellent. You are very good, man. You are a tough fighter. That's where you belong, man. You're a tough fighter. Every time we meet, it's hard pressed to go. So we're gonna do one more fight here. Yeah, Donalo says your number 7 rap is ready. Extra cilantro. That's right. That's hilarious. Rear Naked says, I think the UFC were so convinced and behind Francis in the first fight, and they strapped a rocket to him. They badly want him to be the face of heavyweight. Yeah. Yeah, Taj, that's super impressive, my man. In fact, let's get a shout out to Taj Tennant. JMMA says, yeah, Rear Naked, Francis has been doing the same thing he's been doing. What has he shown to say Stipe can't take him down? Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know if Francis has not been. Ethan says, when I fight you, coach, I'm throwing you into a flying triangle. Okay, you know what? Now that you've given away your game, it's not going to happen. Now I'm keeping my eye out for the flying triangle, Ethan, and I want to see it. Coach Donato says, yeah, you're welcome for the time we sparred. Glad I could help you train. Yeah, that's awesome. Francis, if he has not, oh, it's at Taj. I was like, okay. If Francis is not working on his takedown defense, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know if they still think that all Francis needs is his power to get through the rest of his career, or that will get him through a title. They're crazy. Oh, wow, look at this. Beer Muscles, who beat us several times last time around, is number 1 in the world right now. That's interesting. We're looking at Taj Tennant is 90th in the U.S. Let's give him props. We're going to give Taj Tennant his respect. Let's see where he's at. I'm 661st. Yeah, Ethan, we need Taj streams too. We need streams. Everybody needs to be streaming. It's not that if you don't like it, don't do it. But I want to watch everybody progress. I want it to be documented. Look at Marquise wins. Marquise wins 90th in the world. Let's see who's around him. 90th in the United States. He's only lost 2 fights. He's 18-2. That's Taj Tennant. He's now a regular viewer. Team Heavy Hands in the building. Look at him go. Rear Naked. Also, people seem to forget that the first fight, Francis caught Stipe clean in the first round, and he ate it like it was breakfast and kept moving. He did. There is footage of Francis Ngannou getting blasted by Stipe and not going down. We've seen the power. We know Stipe can eat shots. So, yeah, I do question if Francis hasn't made significant changes, which there is no evidence. There's no evidence in his fight since then that he has progressed in his wrestling. Ethan says Stipe is scary in the ring and funny outside of it. Yeah, when I met Stipe, as I was saying, it was right after his loss to Junior Dos Santos, and he was heading back to the concession stands, and we were kind of sitting in the same section, and I chased after him. I said, Stipe. He stopped and had a full conversation with me. I told him, I expressed to him like why he should have been the winner of the Junior Dos Santos fight. We walked through the rounds. He would have kept talking to me. He was super cool, shook my hand, and then he went about his business, and it was awesome. Stipe is truly a gentleman. So if it sounds like I'm rooting against him, because frankly I am intrigued by the Francis Ngannou fight, and I feel like if Francis has been working on his takedown defense and can keep the fight on the feet, and can pace himself, Stipe could lose. I in fact think Francis has the best chance of anybody in the division of beating Stipe. After Francis, the heavyweights there's just not much out there for Stipe. You could say Volkov is there, but I don't think Volkov has the skill set to beat Stipe. Stipe has better hands than Volk, and can wrestle. And if you can grapple, as we saw Curtis Blades versus Volkov, if you can wrestle, you can give you can give Volkov some problems. Ethan says, okay, but Francis would lose. Okay, but Francis would lose to Brian Ortega. Okay, so we know Ethan loves. My God, I don't know that I've ever met a guy a guy that's a bigger fan of Piotr Jan and Brian Ortega. It's right here in this stream, folks. Rear Naked MMA says Stipe is my favorite fighter of all time. To be fair, he was the first fighter that came across as more than just a fighter to me. In my opinion, he's a role model for everyone. Shame the UFC doesn't market that as much. Yeah, Stipe's got a hell of a story, man. He's a firefighter. He's a family man. He's really good. I just think that the UFC would market him, but he doesn't do well in front of a camera. He's very short. He's hard. You can't. The UFC can't just make you a star. You got to connect with fans, and you connect with him, but he hasn't connected yet with the majority of fans. Yikes, ping is horrible. Donato says, I Twitch Taj will definitely follow. Yes. Rear Naked says, or Taj Tennis says, I did my first stream, guys, on Twitch. Marquise Win, Coach, do you use Twitch too? Anybody else? Taj says, I agree. Yes, I do. Taj Tennis, I will follow you on Twitch. His Twitch name, Taj Tenet's Twitch name is Marquise Wins. I will follow you as soon as this stream's over. And everybody, if you're listening, Taj Tenet, who's 90th in the U.S. right now, his Twitch is Marquise, Marquise Wins. All one word on Twitch. Follow him. Ethan says, I don't stream yet, but I will as soon as I get a PS5 restock. Yes, Ethan will be joining us soon. And Donato twitches and will definitely follow. That's what he meant. So Donato, you have a follow from Donato. You're gonna have a follow from me. I think we got to really just. I want to see more people. One of us. I mean, I like watching people fight. El Jefe Choi, who was in here earlier. I love watching. If I get an alert that El Jefe's fighting, boom, I'm watching. I love watching guys that I know fight. I find it's fun. And Renee said a follow from him as well. Look at that. Look at you go, Taj. Awesome. Thank you, Rear Naked. That's awesome of you. And Rear Naked MMA, that's at Rear Naked MMA on Twitter, says, that's true, but he doesn't even need to say much. Just being able to expose how much of a good person he is, it'd be infectious, like he did with Chandler, although he's a lot more charismatic. Yeah. Donato says he's watching, not streaming. When I jump into ranked, I'll probably start. I'm still learning. Absolutely, Donato. But if I can say something, Donato, first, Rear Naked, yeah, I agree. It is infectious. There is something about Stipe that can be marketed, just how great of a person he is that is marketable on its own, and I agree. But Donato, something to consider is like documenting your journey, going from where you're at right now, just getting used to things, and then showing you, because you're going to be a killer. I mean, just watch. A month, 2 months from now, you're going to be hanging in there with guys that are regulars in here. You're going to end up fighting them. People are going to be like, whoa, Donato can fight. Coach Donato's got hands. It's going to happen. You're on that path. We're fighting Dirty Torta, which I did check with Sony after we fought him last time. This is one of the best PSN gamer tags ever created in the history of mankind. Oh no, Coach Donato says exactly the development. Oh no, this guy is really good at throwing that head kick. Ethan says he's going to be a BJJ specialist. Yeah, it's tough. Guys like Critical Sandman are out there that can show you the way, man. Critical Sandman's one of the best on the ground. Swimming with great whites, yeah. Yeah, that's what this is. That's what a lot of this game is eventually. How long can you survive with these sharks? How far can you go swimming with these sharks in the water? You know, and that's a part of the fun of this game. And one thing, there was recently a patch 9 came out, And I think they made a change so that if you quit, Ethan said he spoke to Sandman. He's getting rounds in with Sandman. But if you quit enough, you're like exposed to like some penalty timer before you can search and ranked. And that made me like become aware of the fact that people quit in this game pretty frequently. I mean, I really didn't know. I was watching somebody streaming, and I saw that they backed out because they knew who they're fighting. And I guess I didn't even know that it didn't count against you to do that. I had no idea, but I guess now there's a penalty for it. So it will be interesting to see how that changes the rankings and how people play online. I mean, honestly, I didn't think it was a big issue. If you do it, that's fine. I mean, I don't think it's cheating. I don't think it's necessarily bad. And I think there are other things in this game that they could have fixed instead of adding that feature. Because frankly, if somebody wants to quit, I understand. This game is frustrating as hell. EA needs to address how many frustrations that there are. I understand why people rage quit. I think I'm in the minority. I felt like I wanted to quit. Oh, okay. DC is fast for being Theodore from Alvin and the Chipmunks. God damn, Ethan. Ethan is a butcher. He's a murderer of people's souls out here. Rear Naked MMA says, one thing I used to do on UFC 3 when I started was keep faking the takedown in hopes they would then take me down so I could practice just surviving and scrambling on the bottom. Yeah, no, that's actually an interesting approach, Rear Naked. That's a hell of a way to get live at. Force somebody essentially to, give you the work you need. Ethan says he loves DC, though. I was about to say, how could you not love DC? My wife's out here dancing in the kitchen trying to distract me in our last fight of the stream. Trying to ruin what we've got going here. Here we go. This guy is really good with Jared Cantonier. Oh. Ethan says Mrs. Heavy Hands doing TikToks. Yeah. She laughed. Yeah, that's what she's doing. That's what it looked like. So here we go. This is a slow-feeling fight. Oh, I feel like I'm just not, my shots just don't have that pop. Like right there, I feel like on my feet, I'm planted. Oh. Oh, finally. Woo! Oh my goodness. Yes. Woo! DC is the most fit fat guy, Ethan says. Well, not anymore. Yeah, he's really, there's just guys that are built that way though. You got kind of barrel-chested people that, they can still run. They're fit, but they just have that body type. They're thick and hard to take down, shorter, stocky. Well, there's some tough guys, man. Oh. Woo! Oh, he almost got me right there. He almost got me. Golly. Rear Naked says, I hate to say it, but DC was so biased and unfair on commentary last night during the main. Yeah, DC is biased. DC, he's a stand for his friends, and he doesn't kind of hide it. And the UFC doesn't stop him from doing it. I think he's pretty outwardly biased when he calls. He doesn't try to stay in the middle, and he doesn't see that as his job. But he tries to say, he tries to, but he's such an emotional guy. You can see where his allegiances lie. Ethan says one time he was commentating, he had to unbutton his pants because they were so tight. Yeah, he does. He sits down and he says he unbuckles his pants. Watch DC and Helwani on Monday. Watch it tomorrow, and he talks about that really openly. DC fart live on commentary 2-3 weeks ago. Rear Naked said that. It was so funny how people thought he did. He addressed that. Daniel Cormier addressed the Fartgate situation where he supposedly farted really loud on air. He said, no way, it wasn't him. But is he going to admit to that? He said it was a chair moving. I mean, it's like, I've never heard a chair moving other than that. But, whatever. It is what it is. It's like, Ethan says, yeah, DC did it. It was funny. That situation is so hilarious. And he's like, oh, no. Dude, this guy keeps landing that head kick. It's like every time. Oh. My God. Rear Naked says his respect for DC went up so much after the fart. Ethan says Jones and DC are best friends and secretly lovers. If anything is not true, we can all be certain that's not. Those two might live the rest of their lives hating each other or being, competitors with one another. I would argue that DC is going to win the race in the long haul. I mean, if I had to choose whose path I would want to be on, I would definitely choose DC's. I feel like DC, he's just everybody's the kind of teddy bear of MMA now. Woo! It's a wrap! We put him down. We're going to do the strut. Oh, he said no respect. Come on, man. Respect. Good fight. Rear Naked says, would have been funner if DC came out and claimed the fart afterwards instead of denying. Yeah, it would have been good. Is there a friendship better than Piotr and Aldro, though? Yes, there may be several. Almost every friendship. Oh, man, we just finished a guy that has no respect for Team Heavy Hands. But that's okay. We made it. Our Sunday stream. Thank you for joining, by the way. I appreciate you guys so much for being here. So much fun. We'll be back tomorrow with another stream. We're going to check where we are in the leaderboards, though. Once again, playing this game is not fun. It's never as fun as when I'm talking to you guys and streaming with Rear Naked, Donato, Ethan, everybody, JMMA, Critical Sandman, Taj Tennant, No Mercy Cult, good night. So many raps were out of meats. Rear Naked MMA says, a lot of finishes, Coach. Damn, almost as many as last night's card. Yeah, thank you, Rear Naked. I appreciate that, my man. Yeah, we're trying to do better. We're trying to improve ourselves and learn from our losses last season. 6 title defenses. Looking at the leaderboards here, we're down almost into the top. We're getting to the top 1,000 in the world. Our ranking is 1,100. Let's take a look at where we are in the U.S., in North America, 441st. Until tomorrow, Rear Naked will catch you. We are 441st, so we're making a march, fellas. We are 9-1. We're doing our thing. Until next time. Without you guys, this is not possible. I really appreciate you guys being here once again. Until next time, I will catch you on the flip side. Peace! I'm out.